Okay, welcome back to Marta's planning mess. Hoping this video will work out. I feel like my tripod device that I have is beginning to fail a little bit. So I apologize if the camera drops in the middle of filming, which has happened a couple times already. We're just going to do our best to make it through at this point. Let's see if I can adjust my light a little bit. So this is my financial planner. That is what we're going to be talking about in this video. It has kind of evolved over time. I got this a year ago in September or October to go along with the Hobonichi Cousin that I thought I was going to be using last year, or this 2025, and I did not end up using. So this was going to be a supplement that fit in the back to cover the bill tracking that I like to do. It went through several phases. I actually put it in a different book for a while, but I've combined all the information here because I really like the idea of having a book to show what I did for the year. So let's get into it. In the front here, I'm keeping track of money that my kids owe on a music trip they're going to be doing in the spring. So this will get transferred over to next year's book. This is a savings account that's tracking money for their school. Again, I'm keeping it like a check register so I can get an idea of what, I don't have quite all the money for the rest of the year, so I'm tracking as it's getting spent how much I need to add. This is a place where I'm tracking reimbursements for, I buy things for my church and for the school and my job, and so just kind of getting an idea of what am I actually spending. And then over here, I added this as a 2025 calendar, and it just shows where my husband's check, it always comes on the 15th, and just so I know how many bills, how many weeks of I have in between checks, because sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, and so this is just a way to visually be able to see that. I've also added mine since I've started working in June or July, so those are in there as well. Okay, this is a check register of the account that I call the joint account, which is where we both have access. We buy gas, groceries, fast food, those types of things. And so this is the one I want to kind of keep track of spending. And at this point, my husband gets his own allowance for that type of stuff so that I am the one in control of the money that's in here. So rather than all of it being here and both of us spending it, he gets some. I do most of the purchasing, which is part of why. So I need to kind of know how many groceries can I afford to buy this week so the money lasts. So that's basically the bottom line of this. I was using a basic check register idea, and then I saw somebody using a Hobonichi Weeks to track it, and I just really loved how that looked visually. So each day has a row, and then these are your purchases. Here's the total. Here's your balance. Total you spent, the balance you have left. And so I've been doing that ever since I saw that in May, and I really like it. I will continue using that setup next year. Okay, so that's that account. I have several accounts I'm tracking. I actually, in the middle of the year, decided to stop using this account in this bank and use a similar account in a different bank for the same thing. And so I just basically at the end of a week, I took all the money that was here, put it in the other bank, so it's the same balance, and I just indicated when that happened. But this is the rest of the year in the account that I had started off with, and I've just got a few automatic transactions that come out of there, so I have to make sure I put money in to cover those every month. Okay, so that's what that is, and that will get me through the end of the year, and these are the ones I'm looking for. Okay, this middle section here is credit card payments. We're usually really good about paying our credit card every month, but sometimes, if we have a tight month, we'll just pay the minimum, and then the next month we pay it off. So it's kind of just a way to keep track and make sure we're not falling behind on that, and get an idea of what we're actually spending. So it's kind of an information gathering chart. And so this is the stuff for November. Of course, we paid all of those. I'm into December, and I've decided to kind of, rather than just doing a month's worth of stuff, I'm going to do the month's worth starting on the 15th, which is where my husband's paycheck comes in, which is where I'm going to start paying bills for that month. So I just had to kind of like realign how I'm doing that moving forward. This is a third account now. This is a personal account, and since I've been working, I've been trying to deposit my checks in there. We are trying to use my checks to kind of pay towards the kids' school, pay off debt, or do projects around the house. So that's kind of why it's a separate account. I've always had a personal account. Like if I wanted to go on a trip or something, I just put the money in there and use it. But anyway, it's not something I had used much up until now that I'm getting my own checks. Okay, this is the main account that the check goes into, my husband's check that goes into, which is what pays for most everything that we do. I carry the card around for this, but I don't really use it that much because this is more of a automatic payment. All those bills that I want to make sure the mortgage gets paid. That's why this is separate from the gas and grocery one. I don't want to spend too much on groceries and then the mortgage check bounces. That's kind of the idea behind this. So it's not too much because it's basically the same things over and over going through it. But, you know, if there's extra money in there, or if I get there and, you know, something goes wrong, I don't have enough on my card, I can always use this one if I need to. So I do keep track of this. I've been glad that I have, because in the past we've had fraud on these accounts, and especially this one where I don't really pay attention to it much because it's all automatic stuff coming in and out. It can take a while for me to notice fraud. So I'm glad I write it all out and go over it every month or so. Every couple of weeks I usually am updating this information in here. So I don't use Quicken or any of those kind of products because I like to have it here. Now, moving into next year, I didn't think that this was quite going to serve me. It wasn't quite big enough, but I didn't want something huge either. And I really wrestled around for a long time, finally settling on using, I don't know where I put it right now, but I have here we go. I'm going to be using a Sterling Ink horizontal for this purpose. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use the monthly section for. Since it's not like I have one balance to keep track of every day or one total, this may be kind of useless to me, but this is where I'm going to be writing out those bills. So this gives me, it's a 2-page spread for every week rather than just a 1-page. So I've got plenty of room to write out all of the things that got done that day and have my balance on the side. This is the joint account, which is the one that gets the most traffic because it's all the little everyday things, buying gas, buying groceries, eating snacks, that sort of thing. Back here in this section, I've got all the other accounts. This is the bill paying account. This is the kids' school account. This is my personal account. And then this is the joint account that just has those few little things coming in and out of it automatically that I cannot figure out how to get in contact with the people to get them to switch. So I'm just like, just leave it. It's not worth it. And then the rest of this in the back is just blank space. Now, I could have used the back here to track the credit card data, but I didn't. I actually opted to use something I had on hand. So this is a B5, kind of a folio. I can fit a B5 Sterling Ink Common Planner full year in here. I have one at work. That's how I know. But I love this. This comes from Kukuyo, and they're the company that makes the Jabun Techo, and they have these in B5 and A5, and I have had an A5 before when I used to use an A5 planner, and I just love it. It has these lovely pockets here in the front and the back, and it has a nice pen loop. The inside is what's really kind of cool. You've got this place, I don't know how well you can see because my camera can't zoom out anymore, but you've got a place you could either put a tablet or you can put a book. Either one. You can slide under this too, but it's split so you can do either one easily. Then you also have that same thing here in the middle, and then you have a place in the back where you can also put another book. So you could have 3 slim booklets in here if you wanted. It's very, very versatile. So I started using this because I was working on my bills while I was having downtime at work, my personal bills. And so when I would get done with them, it was a good place to just kind of put it when it was done. It was marked and signed and whatever. And I was carrying this in there as well. And I was like, I really kind of like how this works as a team. So because I had some of these B5 dot grid notebooks kicking around, because at one point I thought I was going to use them for planners, bullet journaling, I went ahead and made my credit card section in here. So I have that set up, and I'm also tracking a few other things like my checks, my husband's checks. I kind of like having this monthly dashboard view where I can kind of see everything all at once. So that I have set up for the year, and then I also have a place for my 2026 reimbursements, and then do 2027, 28, 29, whatever, however many years it takes to use up the book. So this is kind of, because it's kind of a year at a glance, it won't have all the messy data that will be in this, and this will be tied to the year. So that's kind of how my financial thing has gone. I really like this. I like to see overviews. I like to see charts. I like to see stuff like that. If I figure out some financial charts that I want to track, I will definitely set up that in the back and kind of track some things that might be fun to see, just like my spending from, I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, that's what I have set up for my 2026 and 25 years. I have this little pouch. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I found these in something else, and I trimmed them down to fit inside. But this is what I use for reimbursements. I put my receipts in, and then I can go and fill out my reimbursement form, and I've got everything here, and I don't get confused because there's more than one organization. I used to keep every receipt. I don't do that anymore. I just don't. But because of this is an A5 size, it fits very nicely in here in this pocket. And then for now, because I'm still doing 2026 or 25, I've got that in the front here. And then this, it has this lovely little elastic, holds it all together, and this goes in my bag with me, and it's pretty slim. So anyway, that's what I'm using for finances, and I'm excited about next year moving into this. So this is going to be housed in, this is a Hobonichi Cousin. I forget the name of it, but it is a planner cover. It's designed for the week, not cousin, it's for the weeks, designed for the weeks, which means that this fits in here quite nicely. I was kind of hoping that I could just make this my wallet, because it's got this zipper pocket, which at the moment I have pens and stuff in, but you could put your change and your cash in here, and then put your cards, and I can get, and my checkbook, I can get everything to fit in here. It fits seamlessly, but it makes it very, very, very chunky, and right now things that are slim are more what I'm interested in. So I would rather have my slim wallet and this be separate than to have a big chunky thing. But if I change my mind, I can move it into here. But I have always loved these covers. They look so nice and they feel good. It's kind of a nylon. There's also a pocket back here for receipts. I think this will be good because as I'm shopping, I can just throw my receipts in here and then deal with them when I get home, what goes where. So that's my plan for 2026. Thanks for watching.